What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So NIO's up 3.04%, $7 the low, 722 the high. So definitely showing a lot of signs that it wants to move higher. And then 28.5 million for volume. So we are seeing kind of low volume today. Of that 28.5, most of it is coming from algorithmic trading. So something just to kind of keep in mind for that. But what is causing all this hype today is largely because of this. So early this morning, Trump did say that he sees a deal with China coming. So that's a pretty good thing. I think generally it was assumed that this was going to come this week. I even brought it up in my video over the weekend on how this potentially is going to be one of many catalysts that could really push NIO higher. So whether we actually do get a deal or not, or either just those tariffs that are going to be starting on November the 1st get paused or pushed back, both are going to be seen as a positive in the eyes of the market. Just nothing has been officially announced. So I think this is why there's a little bit of hesitation from institutions and so forth. But aside from that, we did get a lot of good updates over the weekend that I wanted to share with you. And it's been a while since we've had a lot of speculative topics come up because, yeah, I think we've had a lot of good updates in the first week of October. But aside from that, it's been somewhat radio silent. This one did come out. And so NIO's Firefly signs a dealership deal in Thailand. So this is good stuff. Clearly the price and the just proximity of the Firefly would be very well suited for Thailand. And yeah, definitely expansion is in NIO's blood, which is kind of weird because technically I know like several quarters ago, NIO said, hey, we're cutting expansion, we're going to be cutting costs and so forth. They've completely done a massive 180 based on this. So nonetheless, that's good. My only concern is as far as the grid and the infrastructure for Thailand. And every time I bring this up, I always get a lot of comments be like, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I think it was Romania imported 500 vehicles last year of EVs. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm not talking, like 500 is nothing. I want to know, do these countries have the grid to sustain actual EV development and growth? That's what I want to know. And so, yes, expansion is good, but can Thailand sustain based on, again, the infrastructure? So that's kind of more my question, not whether or not like there's demand or someone can import or not. My real thing is, does these countries that NIO is expanding to, can they sustain and hold it? So that's just my viewpoint, of course. So I always like to play devil's advocate. I'm sure you guys are kind of caught on to that, but that's my only kind of question for that. So for those of you that are familiar with Thailand, what's their grid like? So let me know your viewpoint on that. A couple other things. So it looks like the updated L60 is being delivered. So this is the new edition that was done. So the anniversary edition that was started on, I think it was September the 18th, or sorry, September the 19th. So definitely good to see for that. And then the only other thing that kind of came out was this. So NIO to raise ES8 production capacity to 15,000 in December. So Q4 is huge, like a very, very big deal for NIO. And their capacity for, I think it is October and as well November, is 10,000. So definitely ramping it up to 15,000 is good. It also does state right here that if initial order users don't receive their cars by the end of 2025, we'll cover the purchase tax for the following year. So NIO is really doubling down. So they have now a very strong incentive to really produce and ramp up. So definitely good to see. Let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. So that's kind of it for updates, but clearly we're starting to get more and more, so that's always welcomed. Aside from that, shorts are returning 513,000 shares. So by analyzing this and then returning, it kind of does show that today's green day is justified, even though big institutions aren't really buying as much as I would have liked to see, which I'll go over in a second, but still good to see shorts kind of leaving. 10.57% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 146.25 million shares overall being shorted. Right now, looking at the options, 2.39 million in calls, 589,000 in puts. So Today is going to be a fairly heavy volume option day, despite the kind of lower common stock, which is kind of unique. Normally they kind of move together, but aside from that, 58% of all the options being done today are bearish in nature. Coming from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be kind of between that 750 and 8. So definitely a lot of good optimism. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 6. So that is, I don't know where they're getting that from. Maybe they're hedging or doing something, but that is kind of interesting. So far, only one transaction on the secondary market above $100,000. It is a buy, 144,000. But still, like I said, most of the volume being done today is linked to either shorting or algorithmic trading. So big money's not really doing too much. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool though. And sorry, this is beyond meat. So what I will do, I will pull this up. So this is NIO. So a little bit more kind of in line with NIO, but nonetheless, again, it kind of shows that big money's not really doing too much, especially given how much shorts are doing. I'm sure most of this is actually linked to them. Aside from that, with that 713 trading between this R1 and the pivot. So leading into today, like the last week and a half, NIO's been flirting with this $7 range, failing to really get above it. But today seems to be complete polar opposite. So $7 is the low. So that is going to be going forward a good support level, assuming it can actually hold that today. So $7 is going to be the next strong support. And then 783, which is also another very strong resistance / target, is going to be kind of the next point. And with their registration numbers coming out tomorrow, that could be that good catalyst to really propel it to this R1. So yeah, big things definitely are coming. Patience has finally paid off, because I know it did show some signs that it was going to have some pinch. So for those of you that watched a lot of my videos recently, I said last Friday, if not early this week, we were going to see some pinch, either higher or lower. So because it was getting kind of wedge bound between that 10 and 50-day moving averages. So today, right now, it is above that 10-day moving average. Stochastic RSI is still very oversold, so it is sitting at 18. So that probably is also going to, assuming we get a deal with the states, then that is going to probably cause a lot of institutions to really FOMO in. So that's something as well just to keep in mind. We just need a little bit more confirmation and kind of set in stone kind of stuff. Aside from that and what I've brought up, there really hasn't been all that much in kind of ratings or anything like that, or any news. So it's just been more technical driven and based on a lot of that speculative topics and hype. So let me know your viewpoint on NIO in the comments below. You can kind of see as well from the flow that AI and algos are kind of the primary source of the volume, but honestly, nothing really wrong with that. NIO just needed that nice gentle push, and that was it to get above that $7 range. At this stage, I didn't really care, nor do I care how it got there. It just needed to really get above $7, and so essentially you could see that 780 sooner rather than later. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. Are you buying? Are you selling? When it was kind of flirting with that 7 but really consolidating in some cases, did you sell out? What's your kind of general thoughts on all of that? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.